When we smooth a time series, what we're doing is we are trying to level out all of the little spiky fluctuations in order to make a smoother curve that we can go and see if there's an association. Now, in all true honesty, I have never encountered a time series where smoothing it has suddenly made me go, aha, it's clearly this. So usually you can kind of get an idea of what the trend actually is. But sometimes it's very useful to be able to get an idea for a smooth data value to try to get a really good average of that at a very for a month's, say, sales figures over a period of time. Sometimes it's useful to see patterns in an easier way. You can get a nice sort of general overview. But honestly, if your smoothing does something completely different from your guesswork, then you've done something wrong. The table shows the total monthly rainfall in millimeters in a reservoir catchment area over a 1-year period. Calculate the 3 moving means and the 5 moving means. Okay, so when we're calculating this, what we're doing is basically taking the average for the number of months that the points are indicating. So for instance, for 3, we're doing for every 3 months by taking these 3 and doing the average for these. So 9 plus 65 plus 35 divided by 3. So you can pop that all into your calculator. Let's make it to 3 decimal places. So 9 plus 65 plus 35, all divided by 3, and we get 36.3. So you'll notice there I didn't do 9 and 65 on their own. I did the first 3, and then you'll see what I would then do is the next 3. So I started with 9, 65, and 35. Then for this next one here, 65 plus 35 plus 99, all divided by 3, and that's going to be equal to 66.3. Let's get rid of these brackets so we don't get confused. Then I go with the next 3, starting with, in this case, March. So I'm going to go and do these 3. So this will be 35 plus 99 plus 75 divided by 3, which gets you 69.7. I'm just looking over to the side because I've done this a little bit earlier, and I don't think you need me to press this constantly in the calculator. That would make this YouTube video go for hours. And then we'll go 99, 75, and 90. So this would be equal to 88. And then we'll do 75, 90 plus 133, which gets you 99.3, and so on. I'll finish this off in a moment because I'm also going to show you how you can quickly do this on the CAS. For 5-point, essentially what you want to do, so you might be thinking, so you would start with the first 5 months. So we're going to put them like so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll go 9 plus 65 plus 35 plus 99 plus 75 over 5, and that will get me 56.6. Notice that I've left those 2 gaps there, just like I left this gap here. That's because we're going to the middle of those values. You'll notice that I'm not taking the values from the 3 points, I'm actually taking the values from that rainfall over there. So then the next one would be 65 plus 35 plus 99 plus 75 plus 90. And then that will get me to 72.8. So what did I do there? I did those 5. As in this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. That's what got me to that answer. Just the average of those. So, as you can see, this could take a long, long time. So what I'm going to do is, just to make life easier, is I'm going to introduce you to the CAS spreadsheet. Now, being a big fan of Microsoft Excel as I am, because that's the kind of person that I am, I would love to use a spreadsheet to do all of my tedious calculations for me. Now, obviously, you can't lump in a great big computer with Excel into the exam, but we can do it on our ClassPad. So, when you go into the ClassPad and you're in the menu here, there's a thing called Spreadsheet. And this is what it looks like at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the values for the rainfall. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little title for each one so I know what I'm doing. Call that rainfall. I'm going to call this 3 mean. I'm going to call this 5 mean, just so I know what they are called. You don't have to do that, but it does save you forgetting. So I've put in all of my rainfall there. Now what I'm going to do is, in this column, I'm going to go and put in a formula. Now this is where the CAS is slightly different from Excel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write in, because the Excel will use equals average, the ClassPad is going to use mean. So you start by typing equals, and then I'm going to put mean. You can see down at the bottom, that's where the formula has popped up. I'm going to put brackets, and then I'm going to highlight these 3 cells. Now, just so you know, this is actually quite tricky to do with your stylus. Sometimes it will just do like one, it will do some sort of weird, like one cell at a time. It takes a little bit of a knack to do that with the stylus. But we'll do the 3 there, and it's come up with my averages. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and highlight. Well, in fact, I'm going to highlight like so. Now this is where I know people have struggled. Sometimes when they highlight, it sort of clicks on the one cell and drags that cell down. Try to get it such that it looks like this box. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to go Fill, and then we're going to click Fill Range. And what this does is it copies that formula but moves everything down one. So what it does is it's clever enough to realize that it wants me to do the averages for all of those. You'll notice that I've left the last box blank. That is because that 69.333 there is the last sort of 3 numbers averaged. So for the 5 mean one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but with 5 of them. So I'm going to go mean, and then I'm going to highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I get 56.6. See, this is what I mean before about sometimes this comes up. You don't want to do that. You just want to make sure it does this. There we go. And we're going to edit, fill range. And there we go. We've got all of our values here. So that's how we can do it and save ourselves a whole bunch of time rather than doing this all manually. So all we need to do now is to plot it on a graph to compare between the two. When you're plotting the graph, you can actually do one of 2 things. You can either insert those values into the into the statistics function and plot them accordingly. But honestly, the spreadsheet function, much like Excel, can do graphs as well. And what we can actually do is, because these are all sort of just in the same set sequence, so for instance, that 9 is month 1, that 65 is at month 2, because it's February, March, and so forth. The calculator is actually quite clever to realize that all 3 are different graphs and to plot them in the correct place. So all I've done here is I've highlighted the 3 columns, making sure not to drag any across. You'll see that there's two, looks like little mountains here. Well, it's made the time series for us. So as long as you know which one is which. So this is, and they've actually labeled us A, B, and C. We've actually got our 3 sets of time series. They've connected it all lovely with us. And we can actually go and use this as... So that blue line is the original, which has a very sharp peak here. It goes up and then goes down. And then we can see the 3 mean is the red, and the 5 mean is that green line. So what it's telling us here is that generally it has an increasing trend. We can see here from this that, is it cyclic? Could you describe it as sorry, not cyclic. Could you describe it as seasonal? Well, it does go up and then down a bit within a year. So theoretically, it could be considered to be seasonal. Because, yeah, within the 10 months, it goes up and goes down. You would need to compare it with another year, I guess, to really indicate that there is. But honestly, I would actually go and describe it as being that there's an increasing trend in the first half of the year and then a decreasing trend in the second half of the year. That's the main things that I would get out of there. But this is how you draw a time series for each one. So you want to make sure there's a line connecting them all. And then you've also got these other dots here as well. I'd highly recommend using the spreadsheet to save yourself a bunch of time and also know that you're graphing things in the right place. Take particular attention to know where the graph starts. So with the original, we obviously plot, so this would be month 1 here. That's month 5, that's month 10. This is month 2, that's month 3, that's month 4 and month 5. So the 3 median smooth, we start drawing from month 2. The 5 mean smooth, did I say median? The 3 mean smooth starts from month 2. The 5 mean smooth starts with the green line, or it starts with month 3, and so on and so on.